Okay, here we go. Let's see what I look at. You got back. Aha. Hello. Let me check that. All right. There we go now. We're about to start. For those of people who know or don't know, we're here, we're there, we're everywhere. I'm going to get my checklist here. Where did I put that? All right. There we go. So, this is the check intro list that I always read off because that way I don't forget anything, or if I forget something, it's not my fault because I get distracted. I get distracted very easily. Poughkeepsie? Anyway, welcome to Sacred Grounds. I'm Dan Brady, your current host of this, the longest running open mic in the known and unknown universe, as I like to say. Serving up fine food and good poetry since 1972-ish. Let's have a big hand for the people who are hosts back there. Mr. Teddy, give him a round of applause. He is the person who invites us here, and we stay here, and we support the reading by enjoying the food and drink that is served. Please respect the mic. If you have a conversation with somebody, keep it to a whisper. If you have devices, like I know I do, now's the time to put it on mute, airline mode, vibrate, whatever you want to call that, whatever. So, you don't disturb other people and yourself as well. Tonight's speaker is Charlie Getter. He's not in the house yet, but he will. We made arrangements. I even sent a reminder. The keynote, we may have a little bit of a special arrangement for that. The keynote may be late, but we'll find out about that. We got someone who volunteered to do something instead. We may still have her do hers, but we'll take care of things, how it goes. The link over there, I always point it out because it helps people. People tell me that. If you can't be here, you can always view in, and that's how you do that. If you want someone to see you live, that's how you can do that. If you want to hear so-and-so's poem again, or see what happened, or who was that, or what did that person say, right there. You want to do a self-critique. How do I look? What do I do? Did I put my finger in my ear? No? Okay. That's another way to do that. And it's a way to put out your word by referencing the videos that you see and letting people know where you are on them. The ongoing theme is never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing it ever has. That's Miss Margaret Mead. And tonight's theme is kindergarten. It is not a absolute thing you must read upon, but if you would like to read something to do with kindergarten, that's fine. That's the theme. Tonight's theme. A few of the fabulous door prizes. The book Less Than Zero. This is all about very spoiled individuals who don't take responsibility for what they do. Anton Chekhov's The Cherry Orchard. The Baja Men, another example of that. I had several of these. And if that doesn't move your fancy, this is a set of envelopes and cards that could be like greeting things or things that you might want to use to send to people. And then, of course, the cards, if none of those move you, there's next week you have Be the Last Word, the mini feature, choosing the theme, or being the keynote, who she said might be late because I remember her now, but so we might have the other individual who volunteered to do that. You still want to do that? Yeah. Okay. So we have an alternate keynote, and when the other person comes in, she'll do that, and we'll take care of business from there. Anyway, give Justice a round of applause as she comes up here.
Here's a memorial reading for a poet coming up at Alley Cat Brooks, Ronnie Burke, who is a surrealist poet, Native American, Chicano, April Fool, badass motherfucker, it is described. Anyway, he has a nice piece called Invisible World. This isn't on. I had it set. What happened to this?
I don't know.
It's flat. I don't hear me.
Yeah, go ahead. Try it.
You sound fine.
Okay. Invisible World, Song for the Ancestors. See this hair? You can have this hair, long black Indian hair. All those dead Indians will come back to live inside you. Here, take this hair. It may give you enough strength to live 1,000,000 lives. See these hands? You can have these hands. You'll be surprised at the things they can do for you. Here, take these hands and may you find enough love to hold on to. See these eyes? You can You can have these eyes. They can see very far. Here, take these eyes and may you see to the end of many skies. That's from the book Skyboat by Ronnie Burke. Check out Facebook. It's scheduled in a couple of weeks at the Camp Books. Thanks.
All right. Oh, here's the. That's the attribution sheet. If you read something by someone else, I hand that off to you so you can write down who the poet was and the name of the things and like that. All right. So Yasmin, I know she was coming late. That's what she told me. So we're going to go right to the open. When Yasmin comes back, we'll take care of her keynote effort there. So Stephanie Manning is the first in the evening's docket of open micers. Give her a round of applause, please. Stephanie Manning.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, kind people. Hey people, the old real people. Anyway, this is called fever. Everything gives me fever, from the teller who refuses to cash my paycheck to the curtain by my train window stuck on closed. It's all fever. And worst of all, the Trump v. Hillary thing that gives me fever, big time, toot court. Loud, nauseating, metal thumping loudly from the car radio of a college student on a quiet street, fever. And most of all, capitalism, Wall Street, and corporate America, they give me fever, migraine, blood sugar, blood pressure, that tight feeling in the chest, in the throat, in the right arm, in the left arm. They make my back hurt and my front hurt, and I clench my teeth till my jaw hurts, and my tongue swells, and I break out in a rash, and I bark at innocence, and I write rancid poems with lots of too many hyphens. And fever, I put off working and dream about dinner. Thank you, Teddy. And how nobody calls me, and neither does somebody. Fever. Fever all through the night. And I would rather dwell in negativity than dive deep into my work. You got it right. I am up there on the diving board, high up there on the diving board, and I keep turning away from the jump to do one more thing, and one more thing, and one more thing, in a total fever. And of continuous distraction because I got fever. And it seeks my destruction, that fever. So, stew, let me stew. Rave, let me rave. Moral ambiguity, get lost. I am in it till the sweat of despair gets done with me and leaves probably around early November. So blow, wind blows, the air needs some cleaning. Nothing ain't gonna be right till then. The poetry, the weird sisters, the cauldron, it's the fever making all of this happen. Thanks.
Thank you, Stephanie. Let me read the next 5 who are coming up so you won't be strangers to my saying it's your next turn here. We got Kathleen, then David Z, Ed, Livia, Steve, David G, Light Always Show, and Dano the Magnificent, otherwise known as Dano the Non-Magnificent. There you go. All right, so Kathleen Wood. Give her a nice round as she comes up, please. Someone left their glasses here. Stephanie, these are glasses? Sorry. I thought they were mine for a minute, but then I noticed mine were on my face.
Okay. Hi.
Hello.
I wrote this poem myself, so. Anyway, the wino, the junkie, and the Lord. I was on a bench at 18th and Vel talking to a wino who said he believed in the Lord. He said he needed money for dinner at McDonald's. He said he wasn't asking for much. I gave him $1. He said he'd protect me whenever I was in the neighborhood because he always looked out for the people who helped him. He said he had good reasons for being an alcoholic. I told him I used to have good reasons for being an addict. He asked me where I was going. I said to an NA meeting on Eureka Street. He said his daughters lived on Eureka Street, and he hoped they turned out okay. He wanted to know which drug I was addicted to. I said several. He said he wanted to know where the meeting was because the streets were dangerous at night. He asked God to protect me from the crazies in the dark. He turned to a yuppie who stood nearby. I've got good reasons to be an alcoholic. The yuppie smiled at me and shook his head. The bum asked the Lord to keep us all. Then he stumbled off down Valencia. The yuppie muttered something about crazies. Our bus arrived.
Yuppie might have been looking in a mirror. All right, so the next 5 we have David Z, Ed Melendez, Livia, Stephen, Steve O, David G, Clyde Ollie. So David Z, you're up. Where is he? Is that David? Yeah, he's getting ready. All right. Thank you, Kathleen. That was good. I liked that. I thought I was going to hear a whole more adventure, so I look forward to the next installment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
A couple of recent poems I wrote before I tried to sculpt my finger with an X-Acto knife. The first one is called Ordinary Language. People speak ordinary language even when they're bleeding, when they throw these words on Voyager into space, as if their recorded voices at heliopause would sound like God and calm the Martian moons. People speak ordinary language even after the cop has pulled the garrote tight and fills the room with death. A small child on barren fields of snow cries once, and its mother, filled with grief, clasps it to her breast. People speak ordinary language into phones, buckets filled with tar and birds who will never fly again, into tiny models of the Titanic with detailed holes, and a wooden glider about to crumple on Kill Devil Hills. People speak ordinary language and remember clouds of floating seeds that buried the candy store near their school, all those dinosaurs that slowly walked away, and little children who grow up and still wonder. People speak ordinary language when they lie, when they build a trap for all the crawling things in the dark forest, when they tunnel into the one dream they never remember when they wake and sing so quickly it's impossible to understand the wind. I've piled boxes of ordinary language in the garage and never look at them, but I hear them yelling all night long and it scares me, keeps me awake, until soaked with sweat and utterly exhausted, sleep overwhelms me, and I slowly mouth ordinary language. Infinite scene space. The sand opens its mouth for your feet, and the fluttering waves spit out the ring. Is this a myth? Or another Valkyrie under the bathroom sink? Messages at the water's edge say the radio has no signal, no known source, but the music sends a storm of sand whirling into blackness where no wing grabs for the air. Tumbling out of control, I reach for your slender waist, so happy to be in your arms. The curtain falls with a thud in Vienna or Stockholm, where silent raindrops patter a coded ovation on the umbrella of time. I pound on the glass door until a green globule enters my eye and shows me an Ouroboros journey in the encrypted rain. Falling silent and slow in some other land I brush over and over with outstretched gentle fingers, stoking the keyboard into motionless dances of passion, wondering where is the next slash and whip, the torn up image fluttering down to the sand that heals us with its mysterious painted lips. Thank you.
Thank you. David Belter, David Z. All right. We have Ed, then Livia, then Steve O, then David G. So David. Oh, we just did David. Sorry. Oops. I am. Ed Melendez, make your arrangements, please. And we will make our arrangements and become one with everything.
Whoa. All right, so this poem I wrote a couple of days ago. It's called Loneliness as a Need. Henry Miller wrote, "What the artist needs is loneliness." In long-forgotten pre-World War II Paris, surrounded by grime, drink, sex, madness, he wrote on, smiling. What is need? Quiet street, overlooking deserted alleyways, with murals and graffiti. Silent typewriter waiting to open notebook and pen. Paper with a memory of tears, or open seas. Watched from a window, blown sand, lonely big beach, lonely seagulls. Need of pace, need of metaphor, need of subject. Time is a need, love is a need, or is it all want? Loneliness is need, loneliness is want. The keys won't type words without you. Look into the sea, look into the alleyway. Write something, anything. Loneliness, need. Start with those words. Who knows what may come next? And these I wrote today. Who you were, poet. Tonight is for remembering that there have always been open books, pens ready for a metaphor to dance away from our minds, to the page, to the ears of life. You've been here before, in clothes and clothes of quiet, without words, to begin games of inspiration. Tonight is for addressing clouds and stars above, getting breaths for your poem, wrapped up in who you were. Reflections of countless poets, countless faces without names. So dip your pen in this grid of living. Write out some unique signature known only to your footsteps. I have two more short ones. Dabbling in nothing. We gathered our quips and quotes, stolen from a long-forgotten muse, leaving streaks of ink on streets below us, washed by city street cleaners who don't read epigrams. Thinking of these things, we sat down to eat up jokes and one-liners, dabbling in nothing, we, copycats. And the last one is time. Time. How strange you are, unloved by all, whether animal or human, dressed in beauty, but we see only your darkness passing. Time, so undefined, tree of forgetting, unaltered, disguised by eternity. We don't want to hold you.
Nice. Ed Melendez. So there's a tiny change. A person has altered their opinion about. They didn't bring what they wanted to read, so they are asking me to skip around a bit. And I have to ask you if you want to do your keynote.
Go just one more.
Okay, so you'll be after this person doing your keynote thing, and then we'll figure out where your other one goes. All right. So that brings us to Steve O. Give Steve O a round of applause, please. And Livia, thank you for letting me know, but I really would like to hear what you have to say. He'll tell you. Okay.
Frank McGuire drove his BMW black sports machine top down to El Corte de Madera Creek Open Space Preserve, 25 miles south of SF, where we saw the Methuselah redwood, 40 feet in circumference, but surrounded by barbed wire. I told Frank I had had to walk 10 miles barefoot in the snow to get to school with my feet wrapped in barbed wire to get traction. For 2 seconds he was believing me, but the 1,000-year-old tree didn't mind. We continued on our way in the calm redwood forest, and soon we were talking of war. Frank had known a guy named Pete on his high school wrestling team. Pete was a joker. All the other guys would be nervous before a meet, their hands shaking, tense. Pete would be combing his slick back hair in front of a mirror. He'd be saying, "Do you think I look more beautiful this way or this way?" He was champion at push-ups in Marines Basic, but he came back catatonic after the 3-day bombardment of Quezon. Pete was almost dead. Frank decided then and there, I do not want to go to Vietnam.
Oh. Yeah.
Early Blake blazes meteors of genius, the quick slashes of the proverbs of hell. I have a poor memory, but I can pull a few of them out of the ocean water with a nearly breaking net.